So as you know, recently Donald Trump had his ICE agency and other agencies raid a Hyundai LG plant in Georgia. They arrested nearly 500 people, shackled them, threw them in a detention center. The conditions of that place are absolutely awful, and this has been a horrible thing that the U.S. has done. Let's be frank with you guys. Right now, I want to give you an update of what's going on. So basically, right away, this is it right here. The Korean sent a jet, a charter jet. This is Korean Air, and just like, get over there to the USA, come back and bring our people home. My understanding is that the Korean workers were supposed to leave today, this afternoon, but the news is reporting that it's being delayed due to U.S. circumstances. That was the explanation, U.S. circumstances, whatever that means. Let me show you guys. These are the headlines. It says, South Korean workers detained in U.S. may see return home delayed. And again, they're supposed to leave today. A South Korea jet set to return detainees can't leave U.S., and that's Wednesday. And then this is the explanation. I'll show it to you guys. The planned departure has been delayed due to U.S. circumstances. Again, whatever that means. The South Korea Foreign Ministry said it didn't provide additional details. Officials are in talks with American counterparts to secure the detainees' return as soon as possible. And I'll just be frank with you guys. I'm pretty irritated by this. I mean, you can say pissed off if you want. I'm trying to, contain myself so I can talk to you guys honestly about what's going on. The Korean officials are basically at the detention center. They got the bus ready. The bags are packed. Let's get our people home. That's basically what's going on here. And the Americans are just like, kunde. The Americans are like, wow, we want to charge these people, and you're all going to be criminals, right? And because the dispute is, no one wants to classify all these, workers as criminal, ban them from the country, etc. And the Koreans are like, no, we just want voluntary departure. We just want to go home. Just let us go home. It is a big international dispute, and obviously the world is watching this thing. Many companies in various countries all around the world are starting to question whether or not they want to do business with the Americans. Let me show you a little bit more of the news from the Korean perspective and just have a listen for a bit.
내일이 되지만 그 현지 시간은 오늘 오전이 되겠죠. 네. 오늘 오전에 이제 그 한 6시 좀 반부터 이제 그 석방 조치가 이루어진다고 해요. 네.
Right. So I just want you to get a sense of what it sounds like, because oftentimes when you watch American news, it's just a bunch of people yelling, and I'm serious on that. You'll see it. It's not really like that in Korea. I mean, they're doing a good job here of just, hey, we're trying to work this out, get our people home. These are government officials talking. Basically just talking about, we're going to try to get our people home as quickly and safe as possible. They're talking about the same thing here. I just want to show you guys just kind of what the footage looks like. And there's a whole plan in place. Like, if you don't want us to be there, we'll leave. We got the plane there. We got the bags packed. Just let us go. It's frustrating because, and I'm just showing you guys, like, they keep showing us this footage of like, hey, it's ready to go. It's frustrating because I think what's going on is Marco Rubio, maybe Trump, wants some sort of photo op with the Korean officials or something. That's my guess on that, but it's not a stretch, because that's how the Trump people roll, right? They always want some sort of photo op. What they always show on the Korean news too is like this repeated footage over and over again of like, hey, these are your fellow brothers and sisters that are being arrested and treated like this in America. That's what it is. And this is something that they'll talk about Congress. They talk about visa situations. It's actually quite a lot to go through. I just want to get a sense of what it looks like. They show the detention center repeatedly. I think that might be the bus. Again, bring the people home. My understanding also too is they're going to give passage to, the Koreans are, to some Japanese and also to some Chinese. So not just Koreans will be on the plane, 3 different nationalities. And it says right here, I guess, what was this? 2시 was the idea, 2:30. We'll leave on the 10th. Let me show you a little bit more here.
대통령이 언급한 대로 특수한 상황을 인식하고 있다며 한국에 숙련된 전문가들이 미국에 들어와 미국인 근로자들을 훈련시켜주길 원한다고 말했습니다. 동시에 장기적으론 미국인들을 고용해주길 원한다고도 강조했습니다.
He expects these foreign companies to hire American labor. We want Americans to have these jobs. Americans need these jobs.
한편 이번 사태와 관련해
So what they do then is I just want to see a little bit of the Korean news. They literally play her voice so you can hear it, what they're talking about. Then they go through the Wall Street Journal, what's the local news saying, etc. And basically Koreans are just like, can we just get our people home, please? And then, it just feels like you've been invited by a guest, and then the guest basically stabs you in the back. That's basically what it feels like. This is also something else I just want you guys to see. This is sort of our talk showy, podcasty kind of news.
콜롬비아 보고타에 있는 미국 대사관 샷다를 그날로 내렸습니다. 그리고 콜롬비아 대통령부터 시작해서 다 제재할 수 있다고
미국 요거 다 들어줘도 결국 이런 대우 받네라고 해서 각국의 이게
So again, I just want you to see the Korean news is very different than American news. No one's yelling or doing any wild stuff. What they're talking about though is that the Koreans have say about 20 factories in the USA, and so this and how they're treating Hyundai will have massive ripples on how other companies decide whether or not to do business, etc. Because again, 20 factories is real jobs for Americans, and it's frustrating how everyone's feeling. They're also talking about here. I'll show
우리
you a little
공장
bit more.
못 지어라고 해서 근본적인 문제를 삼아서 그동안 쌓인 문제를 이번에 지렛대 삼아서 풀어내는 것까지가 가야 되는 거지.
네.
방금 예를 들어서
So right here, they're comparing different visa allotments by country. So they're saying, hey, look at Canada, look at Mexico, look at Singapore, look at Chile, look at Australia, look at the Koreans. And essentially what they're going to be, arguing here, and I guess maybe Rubio wants to talk about this stuff, is are you going to allow more visas for Koreans to come and build the factories that you keep, basically telling us that we're supposed to build? All right, this is what it all boils down to. Trump's like, you got to come build the factories. And the Koreans are like, well, just give us the visa. And one thing that's really interesting about this too is they're mentioning that some of the stuff has been held up in Congress because, people in Congress are fighting over said things. So, from the Korean perspective, it's just like, well, if you really want us to build said things, why are you arresting us? 1, 2, why don't you just give us visas if there's any sort of problem? Just, give us the paperwork. We'll take care of it. And again, they're even talking about, are we going to create a new special category for these temporary workers? Because essentially what this ends up being, and I know a lot of MAGA people don't understand this, but I'll just try to make it as clear as day. When a company builds a factory in a new place, you send your people to build said factory. Then you train local people to run the factory. Then you go home and then you work with them remotely, right? It's just how it is. It's the most efficient way and cost-effective way to do things. And that's sort of what we've been talking about. The other thing too, which I want to show you guys, is they actually do talk about the Epstein stuff a little bit. I think this one's NBC also, and it's kind of interesting. They just put together an Epstein PowerPoint. I'll just show you a little bit of it.
면요. 도널드가 먼저 그건 분명히 있지만 그게 무엇인지는 말씀드리지 않겠다.
네.
우리는 몇 가지 공통점이 있다.
And they literally translate the whole thing. So I just wanted to show what it sounds like. They go through different articles of the Wall Street Journal. These are the timelines. They're comparing the signatures. So if you want to get Epstein coverage, in Korea, you can certainly do that. They don't do it all day, every day, like some YouTube channels, but I'm just showing you guys. It actually is news over here. Maybe, Trump's pissed off that everyone around the world's talking about it, but it's actually fairly extensive. And I'm just kind of scrolling through it just so you can see. I hadn't seen this picture before, so I don't know if this is where this one comes from, if it's just an AI generated one or someone that the Korean news did, but essentially, yeah, Epstein's ghost, trailing with Trump. But they go through the whole thing. So I always wanted to show you guys this kind of stuff because when we're talking about any kind of issue, it's hard to explain how different the Korean news is, say, to the American news, because American news is frankly entertainment. That's basically what it ends up being. Even though in this particular format, like this podcasting format, one dude's wearing sunglasses, this is kind of more geared to young people, but it's not like, the American news where you're just like, hey, let's ask Kid Rock to, get his opinion on, world affairs, like as if Kid Rock knows everything. Or it was, hey, let's bring in a professional wrestler to, it's not like that. Usually they'll bring in people who are either former government officials that, have a lot of experience in international relations. They'll bring in a professor, they'll bring in, basically knowledgeable people. And then the reporters, and everyone's really respectful. It's just a different way of doing things. And the way that the Americans are handling this whole situation. And again, the Koreans are like, hey, we got a plane there right now. The bus is packed. When are you going to let our people out of detention? And that's sort of it's really, really hard to do business with the Americans. I'll just put it as frank terms as possible. And also, to be fair, if Trump is removed immediately and you bring in some new people who realize the importance of building international relationships, this could hopefully turn around. I mean, that should be the end goal for this stuff, but obviously it's hard with the MAGA people who don't understand any of this stuff, or even if they do, they just are so blinded by whatever they're buying. But I can say it, but I'll be polite here. So that's my thoughts on this stuff. I hope the Ukrainians can come home soon. Again, the plane is ready to go and the bags are packed. Just let them out. That's my thoughts, and I'll catch you on the next video.